Hello, Mr. Heap here, and I'm going to talk to you about reading the docs for guizero. Now, I've told you some of the things that guizero does, but I can't tell you all of the things, or you would be bored out of your mind if we went to each and everything that guizero can possibly do. So, I just gave you the highlights, or what I think are the highlights, and now I'm going to show you how to explore the other things that can be done. And before we do that, there's three words we have to know. The word parameters, methods, and properties. Now, I have all three displayed here. So, and you've used these throughout, but if we have something that is inside the parentheses whenever we start up a widget, those are called parameters. Those are the things we start with where the app is at. Properties and methods are when we modify something or we want some action to happen. For instance, this right here is a property. A property, you can tell it's a property because it has the app, the name of it, dot some word, and there are no open and closed parentheses. If there are open and closed parentheses, it's called a method. So this app, it has a title, and that title, this thing right here is called parameter. We could enter more parameters like height and width and so on. And this right here is going to make it full screen. So the height and width wouldn't actually do anything. So if we do this, look, oh, full screen. If I hit escape, it gets me out of full screen if you ever want to do something like that. And this is just app.display. It's what we always have. So now if you ever want to get to the docs, you can just Google guizero documentation and you should be able to get here, or I have a link on my Google Doc. All right. So once we get here, these are the starting values for my parameters. If you don't put in any parameters, just app equals app, open and close parentheses. The title is guizero, the height and width are 500, the layout's auto, you don't have a background color, and it's of course visible so you can see it. Now, these are all of the parameters. These are the only things you could type in and modify right when you call up the app. Now, when you are going through the app, there are many things that you can do. If you want to use the method to destroy it, you do app.destroy, open and close parentheses, and now it's gone. Or disable it, meaning you can't click on it. You can read through all of these things. You can exit full screen. All of these things are things you can do. And some of them you've already done. You've made yes and no pop-up windows or warnings. These are all things that you can read through and try to figure out if it's something you want to do. Now, properties, these are things that you can modify, like text size, text color, the width of the window, what happens when you close it. The full screen you've already seen, it starts as full screen is false, turn it to full screen is true, and it pops up. It goes to full screen. You can change the font. I don't need to read it all for you. You can read it. And then at the bottom of this, it gives you a couple examples. Now, I'm going to just go through one widget and do a couple things. I'm just going to look at box because we've recently learned about boxes, but we could do this for everyone. And of course, you don't want me to do that for everyone, but I am going to make a quick box. So let's get rid of this and have it like called box 1. And we're going to put our box in our app. And let's look for a good parameter. So something we put in those parentheses. So if I come here, my parameters are here. This is something that I didn't talk about, a border. So let's make our border be a certain width. Now, the width is in pixels, so let's make it 3 pixels wide. So I just put a parameter and inserted a parameter for this. Now I am, just so we can see it, I'm going to put text in box 1, and it's going to say, hey, check out my parameter. All right, so let's look and see how this modifies it. Look, now we have a nice box around our text box. If we want to look more at it, we could change the width and the height of our text box, or we come in here and we can add more parameters. Height equals 30. All right, let's do 10. Width equals 10. Now when we do this, it's 10 by 10. That's quite small, right? So let's do 100 by a width of 300. And now you can see, there we go. So now our box has a nice big border around it, and we can specify how big we want that to be. And so you can change things based off of what you see. And then if we want to destroy the box or enable, disable, you can read through these. And so if we want to set the border, the thickness, and the color somewhere else, so you could do it with, I don't know, a push button, or you could just put it in here. We could have box 1. Now, was that a method or property? Let's look. That's a method. So to do that, we're going to have to, if we need thickness and color. So box 1 dot set border. We can say set border. And we want to set our border to have a width of 4. And our other thing was color. Let's have our color to be red. And there we go. Now we have a red box with a 4.